Hello, art friends. Welcome back to my studio. I am Ophelia, and thank you for being here. Today, I thought we would talk about like my favorite supplies and the supplies that we will be using a lot of on this channel or on this In the Studio with Ophelia journey. I am honestly so addicted to art supplies. Like, I get so excited when there's a new art supply that I find online or in an art store. Oh my gosh, it just sets my whole soul on fire. Like, I can't wait to play with that, and I can't wait to try that. I get a lot of my supplies here. I'm lucky enough that I live very close to an art supply store in Raleigh, North Carolina, Jerry's Artorama. And so I get a lot of my supplies either in store there, and I'm also very lucky that jerrysartorama.com has like a warehouse here in North Carolina in another county over. And so whenever I order there, it usually gets to me really fast. So I love to, or I should say, I usually order supplies from jerrysartorama.com, or I just go in store because the products are good, the customer service is fantastic, the shipping is really fast for me, as luckily I live very close by. So that's where I get the larger majority of my supplies from, and I just wanted to kind of walk you guys through a few of my favorite things and things that I use most often and will show up in a whole lot of my videos. They are on the desk here behind me. Now, definitely you can use whatever it is that you have on hand. I'm certain we'll be adding more to the list as we kind of go along, but these are just my must-haves or things that I kind of constantly use. So I would love for you guys to keep watching this video and definitely give it a thumbs up. I will have everything listed in the description box down below. If you have a favorite supply that maybe I didn't mention, please leave that down in the comments. Or if there's a supply out there that maybe I do not mention, leave it down there in the comments so that maybe I can go check it out. Like I said, I am always, sadly, always looking for supplies because art supplies are my favorite. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna flip the camera around and let's just dig into my favorite supplies. I honestly just feel as though the supplies that I use are very good quality supplies. They've been tried and trusted, and I'm not like a snob art supply person, but I do just feel as though the right supplies give me great results, which then help me to enjoy my creative expression. I hope that makes sense, but I just know that I like to use quality supplies. I like to use quality supplies, which just helps me and helps to make my creativity just go a lot smoother, where I'm not fighting with my supplies to get them to do something. My materials are just good, trusted supplies that I've used for such a long time. And so I'm gonna stop rambling and flip. Alrighty, I am here with my desk filled with supplies. So I will start off with probably my most used, mean, trusty, and this is a sketchbook. I encourage all of my students to use a sketchbook and make it a part of your regular creative habit. Call it what you wish: an art journal, a sketchbook, an idea magnet. I just know that I use this guy for all sorts of things, and it's just a trusty companion. This guy is a Stillman and Burn. I thought I had a little paper that told me which one it is. I believe it's the Alpha, but that's the one that I use. And like I said, I'll find the things and leave them linked in the description box. So my first supply is my sketchbook, and then I will often use loose sheets of paper, like if I'm doing sketches or something like that. So I've got some watercolor paper here. This is Legion Aqua Cold Press. I've also got, oh, this big guy is a Fabriano. It's the Studio watercolor pads. And let's see if I can put it into frame here. I've got a coffee spillage situation right here because my most favorite supply is my coffee. And so there's always random bits of spillage everywhere. But anywho, this Fabriano Studio watercolor, and this one is also a cold press one for swatches and such like that. Mixed media paper, I use 2 brands usually, and this is, like I said, if I'm working on something outside of my sketchbook, there's a Creative Mark, and this comes in a couple of different sizes that I really enjoy. I've got the 9x12 here, and it's a 90-pound paper, which is nice for different things, as well as this Strathmore mixed media paper, 15 sheets, 9x12, and I use these all for a variety of reasons when I'm working out of my sketchbook and on different products. So I will start with watercolors, and I've got 2 of them here because I borrowed one from a friend of mine and put a swatch card in it because this is the way that it comes out of the I'm going to put a piece of paper here because that spill is bothering me. But this is the way that it comes right out of the box when you order it. And so it's the Lucas 24 set of watercolor paints. It's got mixing wells here and here, and then the paints. These are literally, I mean, there's several brands of watercolor, but this one's the one that I find that I reach for most often. My set is just a little bit different in that, y'all, I'm extra. So I've added a row of watercolor paints here down the middle, and it's the very same set. I just used empty half pans and filled them with, for instance, the tubes here, and just put more colors down the bottom. So this is the Lucas watercolor paint set that I use. I often, oh, and I should say, with watercolor paints, let's just go ahead and move to brushes for a second, because, you know, you walk into an art supply store and the brushes are just fierce. I'm overwhelmed because I literally I just love using them. I just love looking at them and touching them and all of the above. But, sorry, for my watercolor swatches, I will often use the Creative Mark Squill, and this one is in a size 2. And then it's the Mimic, this is also by Creative Mark, the Mimic Round, and these are, they come in a variety of sizes, which is, you know, I just enjoy using these. There's also a Creative Mark Polar Flow, and these guys, good grief, are literally my most favorite, most used brushes, especially for acrylic paint. But this guy with the red handle is a number 10 round. Sometimes when I'm just doing small swatches of watercolor, I will use this Polar Flow, and this is also by Creative Mark. It is a 700B. I like the clear handle, and I use these guys for acrylic paints, which is why they're sitting here as well. But then I also like to use the thinner one for like just small watercolor swatches if I'm using it in like a small rectangular space. I also really like the Creative Inspirations, and these can be found in like the student section, or like I use them in my classroom because the handles are plastic, and so my students, you know, they're very durable and my students use them. But then I find that I really enjoy using them in my studio as well. And they come in a variety of sizes and such like that. So these are the brushes I use for watercolor and acrylic. I also have, while I've got that out, some pencils. And, you know, good grief, I am a clutch pencil nerd. Like, there's something about a clutch pencil that just makes me want to get all of them. So I think it's because it's got a nice thick lead. So I just really, really, really love using a clutch pencil. So I will always have these on my desk. Some erasers here, and these are definitely used, but this one is a Marie's. It's just a nice soft eraser. Probably one of my favorites is the Vanish 4-in-1 eraser that I use quite often, and in all honesty, these are usually all over my studio and my desk because they're the ones that I use most often. But I do love the Marie's. It's really soft, so I use between the two of those. And then in my painting practice, my favorite pencil is it's the Jerry's Jumbo Jet Black Pencil. This is an oil impregnated charcoal that just gives me a nice dark mark that will not have like a graphite shine. So this is what I use to just get like for mark making. And then I've got a couple of fine liners. One of them is an Accurate. Both of these actually are waterproof. And then one's a Micron. I usually get like a 0.3 or a 0.5 nib. Microns I know have like a nice plastic nib, which is also great. So these are always a must. Speaking of those, here we'll just move to this. There's a set of, these are Cezanne graphite pencils that I like to use whenever I'm doing something where I need more than just the 1 degree. Usually I keep a pretty light lead, like a like an HB or an H in my clutch pencils. But if I need a little bit more of a variety, I will pull out like a full set of, these are the Cezanne graphite drawing pencils. And then along that same line, this is, you know, a large set of colored pencils, which, you know, I just love this brand. And let's see if I can get it. Here we are. I love this brand of pencils, and there are so many pencils out there on the market. These are a very good value. And here, let's see. There's 3 trays that are in this particular set. So there's 1, 2, which one of them is in another pouch because I was working on something. 3, so it's 120 pencils in total. I just love to use them in a variety of ways, but so this one is a set of colored pencils. And then acrylic paints. Probably my most used paint is Lucas again. I can get these at Jerry's Artorama. So it's really handy if I run out of a color. I can just, you know, usually run down to the store or place an order online, and it's here pretty quickly. I just love the finish of these paints. I love the consistency of these paints. They are just very good quality. And so this one, or these paints, are my most used for when I paint like in acrylics and abstracts and such like that. And I'm gonna move this because with acrylics, I always end up using, and I just found that this is the brand that I like the most. It's the Creative Mark The Edge Gallery Wrapped Canvas. This one's a size 8x8. They have like a size 4x4 that I love. And they go all the way up to, you know, my largest ones that I end up using. For me personally, I've gone as big as a 36x36, and that's about as big as I usually will go, or that I've gone so far. So this one is my favorite brand because the quality is good. It's nice and durable and tight. So that is the type of canvas that I use. And then finally, to kind of wrap it up, whenever I'm in my journal, I like to use, of course, paint pens. There's like what is this? Amsterdam has a really good one. Liquitex also has a nice one. These come in sets. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, Posca also has a really nice one that I like to use. So a variety of acrylic paint markers. As far as markers go, I like to use like the Faber markers as well as concept markers, but anything that I can usually write with. And then to round this all out, inks. From time to time, I just love to play with inks for writing with like a dip pen and a nib, for splatters, for creating backgrounds. They're just so versatile, and I like Liquitex brand as well as Amsterdam brand. I'm certain there are other brands out there that I'm just not mentioning, but this is kind of like my most used, most favorite supplies, and or a variation of the like. You guys let me know if there are supplies out there that maybe I didn't mention, or maybe I don't even know about, that you guys use or find that it's always in your practice. And definitely on this journey that we're on, we are going to kind of dive into the supplies and see kind of what they're all about, and definitely what makes them a part of like my top most used supplies. And we'll just kind of have a deeper look, I guess, into the supplies that I have here. So, whew, that was a lot of words and a lot of stuff. But I just appreciate you guys watching, and definitely come back next week for more in the studio with Ophelia. And I appreciate you guys watching me today. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.